But basically he came up, saw me playing and was like, oh, if we can channel your speed, we'll make you a star. And I was like, that's pretty cool. But yeah, basically I think we should stay on for another hour afterwards. I can answer all your questions and then we can put that behind a paywall and then your Patreons can hear us bitch about people, right?
Yeah, nice.
I chucked the ball back to them. I think we got it in defence and I chucked it back at the halfway line. But we defended again.
Yes, the old unorthodox. Have another go in golden goal. But
Knights could probably come anywhere from like 2nd to 7th.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the chances are we'll just draw every game from now on, and then wherever that leaves us, what's that, like another like 14 points?
As long as you're getting points on the board, honestly, this season, you never know.
But the actual final.
Yeah,
final was, I don't know, do we swear on this podcast or
well,
not?
Yeah, mate, say whatever.
Final was a bit.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back for the 4th episode of the For Korf's Sake podcast with me, James Sawyer, and the legend Caitlin Fitzgerald.
Here we go. Yeah, didn't think we'd make it to 4, but here we are going strong. Loving it.
I know, four in. I'm surprised, but I feel, Caitlin, today's a good day. I feel like we've got an absolutely phenomenal guest for the listeners. Very, very excited for this one. A big 4, I would say. So it's been an exciting time. How has your week been, other than the excitement of this guest?
Yeah, no, a good guest this week, I'm sure. But yeah, good weekend. Obviously, no National League, but Beck were lucky enough to play against a visiting Dutch team. Actually, the Dutch senior team, and we beat them. No, just a random Dutch selection. But yeah, really good to have some high quality gameplay over the weekend. So big thanks to, I think it was arranged by England Korfball. So yeah, really great to be a part of that. And obviously then we had the Ireland Scotland games going on, both qualified, which is the main thing, picking up some good wins throughout of both teams. I'm sure they'll be happy with that.
Yeah, it was a spicy tournament with I think Scotland beat Serbia, beat Ireland, and Ireland beat Scotland, and all 3 teams beat Greece. So it was definitely a good one to watch. I'm sure all teams have gone home happy, and I hope that they all had a jolly in Belgrade, or at least, as you said, Belgrade Airport. I hope it was a corker on Sunday night. But yeah, very, very happy for our compatriots over there as they all qualified. Good news all round, wasn't it? Yeah, especially watching us beat the Dutch as well. That's us, I say, as if I was part of the team that beat the Dutch. I absolutely was not. But yeah, very, very excited to watch that. Rarely do we ever see the Dutch lose in an international game. But yeah, we did. Should probably clarify, wasn't the Dutch National League senior team.
Yeah, I think we can get away with that. No, but still really, really like high quality competition. And it's always nice to just play against people that you don't know. It can be a bit of a rarity in Korfballs. Yeah, that was obviously super fun and great preparation for our next match against Bristol and for Champions League next year. But yeah.
Well, I guess I'll give the listeners a little update as well, Caitlin. We're working hard in the background to try and secure some really interesting guests. Very, very excited. Caitlin's just necked a bit of wine there. We should probably break the 4th wall.
It's a special.
This is a special episode, but yeah, guess to give the listeners a little bit of an overview, we are working really hard in the background, especially when there are weeks where there isn't National League games, to actually go out, talk to people, try and get specific guests to come on. And yeah, we are working hard for that. We're hoping that it will make its way soon and that we'll have some more fantastic guests to get you. But talking of fantastic guests, Caitlin, do you think it's time for us to bring in the guest?
I'm not sure I'm ready for this. Go on.
Mate, I don't think I'm ready for it either. I'm going to take a quick swig and hope he doesn't leave before we get started. So, one of England Korfball's most notorious names, known for his lethal outside shot and rapid pace on the inside, he's been a defender's nightmare for the last 20 years. He's the long-term captain and talisman of the Norwich Knights, and was also ranked number 7 behind Caitlin Fitzgerald on John Bagnall's blind ranking list. No, we of course joke. 104 international appearances with a whopping 232 goals in that time. This man is unquestionably one of England's all-time greats. We are absolutely buzzing to spend some time with such an icon of the game and pick his brain. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in graciously welcoming the legend that is Charlie Vogwill to the For Korf's Sake podcast.
Woohoo!
Hello. How you doing, guys?
Here he is.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
good,
for the
good.
intro. Very, very generous. I think it's interesting that you've got, got people listening to their own little intros, which I like. I've got a list of accomplishments here if you want me to read off a few more. Or no?
I'd love this. I would love, mate. Please. Have you go on? Have you
No,
actually?
no. Of course I haven't. No, all
That
good.
would have been class.
No.
That would have. I don't know where to get the stats from. You just have to go to World Korfball to make sure they're consistent. After I outrightly lied about Caitlin's, so
Well, I was going to call you up on that. To be fair, like 104 England caps is very generous because I think you go on World Korfball and it's
international
got
caps.
yeah. Well, okay. All right. So taking the juniors and the night stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. That's how it. That's how. I mean, listen. I think how many goals did I say you got in the National League, Caitlin? Was it over 400?
Yeah, I was like,
That's probably.
it would take me about 500 games to get that many. So
that can't be too far off, Caitlin. You must be up there somewhere. But no,
Yeah,
I'm
not far
a
off.
stats nerd, so I can tell you it's 51 caps. So half that. But yeah.
51 caps. How many goals?
127, I think. I've counted
Mate,
right. Yeah.
Go on.
How many are down as medium shots? It should be down as long.
Oh, so many, Caitlin. Don't get me started. Those stats people hate me. They think it's like in proportion to your height. They're doing me out of loads of longs.
Mate, I actually, before we jumped on this, I actually was watching an England-Suriname 2019 World Cup game that I'd never seen before.
Oh, really?
What a cracker that was.
Yeah, that's a hell of a
bit
game.
of a heartbreaker, I'm sure, for you,
Yeah,
but it was
yeah.
a hell of a game.
It's a good game, yeah. And a pretty important one as well, because we lost that, and then we didn't get to the World Games. We were pretty unlucky to get Suriname at that point. But yeah. Yeah, no, that was a good game. I've seen that one a few times. I think I might score a couple.
Yeah. Fair few goals for you, wasn't it? That was. I thought I'd give that a call out because that one's a bit of a Vogwill classic.
I think I probably lost 8-7 though. I think my guy was scoring quite a lot as well. There we go. I hope you appreciate my background as well. This is not how it normally is. I've set this up just for you. Oh no, is it the wrong way around?
Just says Norwich, nothing else.
Okay, well that's because I love Norwich. Yeah, no, it's Knights. It could be Knights or City. I love them both.
Two big teams. Right, awesome. Well, listen, thank you for joining, Charlie. We're very, very excited for today's episode. There's so much to go through with you. We're not going to be able to get through everything, but I guess we always kind of like to at least start and give people a platform to kind of let us know how they started Korfball and where the beginning was for you.
Yeah, cool. Well, yeah, no, thank you for having me on. But I think, everyone on a Sunday afternoon wants to sort of like put the world to rights and talk about Korf. And like everyone's probably said at some point, like, we should go start a podcast. And you guys have actually done it. So like, nice one. I've been listening. It's good.
Cheers.
But yeah, where did I start Korf? So probably started, well, first of all, I started when I was like 8 years old. So like primary school. So I've got Big Phil to thank for that. Phil Buttinger. He started like all the Korfball in Norwich basically. And we've got like a pretty good primary school sort of setup. So started playing at school, but then I did quit. Like quite a lot of people do. We've got hundreds of kids who play in primary school and then everyone quits when they go to like secondary school. I stopped then. And then I somehow got roped back into playing. I don't know. I think I got Pete Teague to thanks for making me play again. Because I think I was like roped into playing for like Norfolk, I don't know, under 15s B or something at a tournament. So then, because I was going to some England trial, I then started playing for Norwich City when I was like 14 or so. And then, yeah, basically carried on from there, playing in Norwich.
Nice. It's always often there's kind of two main routes I feel into Korfball: primary school or university.
Yeah.
And I was caught at primary school as well, but also did stop for a couple of years and came back to it. And then obviously I know you started in Norwich, and when you did go to university, ended up playing up in Nottingham. Correct? Am I right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I went to uni in Sheffield, and then played for Nottingham for 3 years, and then ended up coming back to Norwich, and then I've been there since. Yeah, but I want to shout. I started at Norwich City, not Knights. To be fair, I want to make that clear because everyone from Knights is pretty much defected from City, so our roots are there.
It's like the Bearsted of Norwich. Everyone, all roads lead back to Bearsted for a lot of players. Like,
if you could make a dream team of everyone who's ever played for Bearsted, they'd be good.
Yeah, pretty quality. But then, obviously ended up in Nottingham in one of the best teams that the National League has ever seen. Really, that Nottingham group. I actually quite love to know. I don't really know how all these great players ended up being in Nottingham at the same time. I know a couple went to uni, but
I think I think it was pretty much a lot of us were the same age group, weren't we? So we all went to uni at the same time. And yeah, like you say, I think me and Tash Dawson went up the same year. We were both in Sheffield, travelling down, playing for Nottingham. And that was obviously joining a really good team already. Like, I think, like Rob Mann, he played for England, Big Al, Hannah Lorimer, people like that were already there. Heather Comessi was already there at like Birmingham Uni. And then us lot all joining at the same time for like the same couple of years meant, yeah, pretty strong squad. Quite, you said one of the best. We still didn't manage to win. We lost to Trojans 3 times in a row, which was annoying, but pretty difficult to beat them on the day. I think we beat them in the regular season, probably in the last year. In the last one's the only one that we really should have won, but
Yeah, it's good to have someone here to have that shared experience.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, yeah, I blame Bedford for that one as well, and he's had plenty of them. So, I was going to say cut that, but don't. But yeah, no, I think it was just a case of like we all went to sort of uni up north, and then because we wanted to carry on playing, like we were willing to sort of do the travelling to get to the nearest like National League team. So yeah,
and I guess how was it playing in a National League team that was up the top end of it? Was that your kind of first experience of being in one of the higher teams in the National League?
Challenging for the title, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So when I first started at Knights, we were back in the first division. So we won Division 1, and then we were at Knights. My first year there before going to uni, we came, I'd say probably bottom, but they somehow managed to introduce a Champions Trophy or expand the league or something that meant we got to stay up. So that was good for Knights. But then, yeah, going to Nottingham, obviously it was also, I think it was the first year that they probably introduced like the playoffs and stuff, which obviously makes it more exciting at the end. Because it used to just be like a straight league that, when you do have like 2 pretty dominant teams, like we had then, like Nottingham and Trojans were pretty much dominating it. Like that kind of makes the regular season almost less exciting if you end up with that game happening before the end. But yeah, having the playoffs in was good. And yeah, like we were pretty close in the finals, but never quite got there.
Yeah.
It would be super helpful as well. Like I've watched some of those, watched one of those games, Charlie, for some of the listeners to understand who were some of those players that were playing in that team that I guess have been prolific in the National League over the last kind of like 10 or 15 years.
So that Nottingham team, it was boys wise, it was me, Johnny Nickerson, Ben King, who was like England captain for a number of years. He was really good. He stopped a while ago. And then we had Joe Bedford. And then our second team was pretty much a National League team as well. But it was Rob Mann, Big Al, James Woolmer. When he turned up, he was kind of like flitting in between us and Sheff Uni. I think they got docked quite a lot of points one year because he didn't really do a transfer back. He just started playing for them. But and then yeah, girls wise was really strong. It was like Tash Dawson, Hannah Lorimer obviously was still up in Nottingham then. Amy Turner joined as well. She was at uni in Leicester, I think. Sammy Bedford, Joe's little sister. I think she carried on playing up in Nottingham, but she hasn't played sort of Premier League for ages, but she was really good. I'm sure I'm forgetting people as well. I don't want to. So Heather Comessi definitely was there too in my first year, I think. I've definitely forgotten some very good girls. Sam Whitaker, Helen Bigley then, or Buttinger now. So yeah, it was a pretty strong team. And then, yeah, we just came up against another very strong team in Trojans.
Yeah, but I'm sure that kind of those missing out on actually clinching the title, going back to Norwich, I'm sure it's very useful to have had that experience and kind of bring that back into a Norwich Knights team who up until that point hadn't challenged. How do you feel like you benefited from those finals experience? Did you think you were able to bring that back to Knights and really kick on from there?
Yeah, definitely. I think obviously, it's hard to kind of pinpoint like when you were sort of playing your best, but I'd say definitely like after uni. Like I think looking back at that team that we had for Nottingham, if you made us all like 2 or 3 years older, we'd probably have won those games. You know what I mean? You're all like 21 years old, but you're not as composed as other people maybe in the game. Yeah, I guess bringing the experience of doing that back to Knights was good, but also it just kind of worked out that at the same time as I came back to Knights, like so did some other people from uni. We had some really good youngsters coming through, as well as like the people who were first team before, like they were still carrying on playing. So we ended up with just, probably the strongest like squad that we had. So we could all actually like train really hard. Like I'm sure you see it at Beck, you've got all like, collection of the best players in England. If you're training together week in, week out, then that pushes you on to be better. That probably helped us quite a bit. And then, like you say, like after a few years of being back, I don't think it was straight away at all. Knights were then challenging in the sort of top 4 and making a final at one point.
Yes, indeed. So for a good few years, Knights were and definitely that guaranteed kind of top 4 team. And yeah, one year did actually make the final. How did that feel?
Well, the actual final,
I guess I don't think it's unfair. Yeah,
final was, I don't know. Do we swear on this podcast or not?
Well,
yeah, mate. Say whatever.
Final was a bit shit.
Yeah.
But no, it was fine. He got absolutely hammered by Trojans. I think it was like 27-15. But the game against Beck was obviously that was great. That's probably the biggest game that we've like won as a group. That was really tight. It was down at like the K2. Can't remember exactly the year, but it was like were you playing for Beck or not, Caitlin? Were you too young?
Yeah, I was that year.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh God, because it was like first time it was at K2, obviously exciting, and it just didn't happen. Really did not happen.
A lot more pressure and expectation on you guys, right? Because I think you'd probably beaten us.
That's our favourite thing.
Yeah, which Beck thrive under. So yeah, you'd obviously done better in the regular season, and then obviously came to that game, and I think Beck probably had more shots in the game for sure. Not the shooting percentage that you needed. I think there was one point where Josh just went and stood under the post. Josh Rowe went and stood under the post, and I was running between the two boys who were taking turns missing, which worked out lovely for us on the day. But I don't think it was a thriller. I think it's like, I don't know, 15-13, something like that.
Yeah, I think it was pretty low scoring grinding out. But yeah.
For the record, a bit of context here. That was my first ever Korfball event. Turn up as Blake's fanboy, right? Went to uni with Blake, so we turn up as Blake's fanboy. Yeah. So it started at Brighton. We're in the crowd. We get there. I've got no context of what's going on at Korfball at the time. Arrive, and Toby Clark tells me Beck didn't make the final. Norwich made it, and we're like, oh, okay. And that was my first foray into. You were the first big game.
That's probably quite an exciting time to come into it, isn't it? The finals, the finals were good, and we were still sort of building at that point. So.
Yeah, and you guys went on as well. I feel like Knights went on from that moment. When was that? 2017? Was that 2017?
I've got the runners-up medal somewhere. But yeah, probably
2018 or 2017, one of the two. But then from then, Knights just seemed, because the following year when I went to the Bucks tournament, Knights were doing the kind of marquee game that they often do, and they played Beck again, or maybe they played Trojans. I can't remember. It was one of the two, and it was an absolutely cracking game. It was it was again just nail-biting games in the league that you guys were having, like right up until the last couple of minutes. You guys went from strength to strength, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like the team we had at that point was great. Like we still have a lot of like up and coming players coming through now. But when it was, we probably had, I don't know, if like Paul Debenham, he was playing for England at the time, or he maybe went on to a few years later. Obviously, Josh Rowe, me, Stan Dunn, like never played for England, but he was, because he was, I think he basically stopped Korfball like quite early compared to like maybe when other people have. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, obviously we were like happy to be challenging. And like you say, those games at UEA, like they were really great games. Like I guess if you were playing at uni, you'd have been watching them. Yeah. So like the Saturday night, you get 200 odd students like sat around watching. And I think we drew with Beck maybe, and we lost to Trojans by 1 in one of them. So good opportunity to like showcase a bit of Korfball to all the students.
Yeah, for sure. And I know that kind of Knights now doesn't have that same lineup as it did, but as you say, it's got quite a lot of young up and coming players. I know we've already played Knights this season. It's very young, a very fit team, a team that will shoot take a lot of shots, defend well, and you have to pay attention constantly because you kind of will shoot from anywhere. It doesn't always require that solid rebound, that's like static rebound, especially in the division with Luke Hoyt-McKenzie. I know that you have taken up a coaching role within Knights as well. How do you feel that Knights are looking for this season? Are you what kind of made you want to get involved in coaching? And they've also been involved in some of the England stuff. So yeah, I guess we'll start with kind of the move from playing into coaching and how you feel about Norwich Knights going forward.
Yeah. Well, that's not, it's not like a massive move really, because like I've pretty much always been player coaching like most of the time when I've played. So like obviously for like literally like when I first started for Norwich City when I was like 14, in my first year we had like, I was the like sort of youngster in the team, and then every adult retired in the same year. So then our first team for Norwich City was like me, a couple of people in the year above, but like Phil had to take us in a minibus to every match. So I was like player coach in that team when I was 15, I guess. Wasn't doing very well at it. I was kind of doing a more like, shoot better, try harder kind of thing. But and then at Nottingham, when we went to Europe and stuff, I was still sort of helping out a bit, coaching there. And I've always been sort of involved at Knights, but what really helped us actually when we like did push on was Joe Sterling getting involved. So then I wasn't player coaching. So that probably helped me in that I could focus on playing. And obviously he then got us, playing in a different way, playing in a sort of more dynamic way. So that helped massively. But I wouldn't say it's a massive like shift to be doing coaching this year. And also Joe is back again this year as well. So I'm not officially, well, I'm coaching sometimes, he's coaching sometimes. And I am still played much yet. But I am still planning to. So yeah, it's a bit of it. It's an interesting shift. Like I'd always want to carry on coaching once I stop playing, but it's not, it's nothing particularly different. It's more just you always need a coach, don't you? So if there's no one there, like you got to fill the gap. And it's not, I don't mind doing it. I always kind of have an opinion on whoever is coaching, whatever they're thinking. I've got my 2 pence to put in as well. So it's not that different. It's just like you're allowed to say it.
Yeah, officially allowed. Yeah. How do you what are your kind of ambitions with Norwich Knights at the moment for this season?
Well, I think
and going forward, because a couple of those players we've mentioned are no longer playing for Knights. Where do you see yourselves now? And
I think it's
almost.
Like I think the league's really quite open. Do you know what I mean? Like I think I've been listening. Yeah. I think the first couple of episodes have been extremely Beck and Bristol heavy, in my opinion.
I know that's my
yeah, not yeah. But I think that's fair though. Like as far as Beck goes, obviously they're like you've got to say that if there's one team that's sort of head and shoulders above the rest, it's Beck. So I'm sure that they'll finish sort of top in the regular season. It'll then just be coming down to who's like developed throughout the year in the playoffs at the end. But I think behind that, honestly, from second down to I think it's even hard to pick really someone to go down because you'd probably say Bromley and Bierstead would be favourites, but I think on their day they should be picking up points. Like Bierstead had quite a heavy loss to us recently, but they were missing, like they had to forfeit their second team. They were missing something like 11 girls, they said. So it wasn't necessarily their strongest first team that we played in that game at all. So I think they can pick up points. I'd say, I think Knights could probably come anywhere from like second to seventh. The chances are we'll just draw every game from now on, and then wherever that leaves us. What's that, like another like 14 points?
As long as you're getting points on the board, honestly, this season, you never know.
I was waiting for the Knights draw comment to come out. That once the Oracle had spoken, I know. Just
it's pretty fair. I think we had 5 or 4 last year. So it definitely happens. Good at not losing games, I suppose you could say. But no, I wouldn't pick. I'd pick us probably somewhere in the playoffs, but like I wouldn't say that we're gonna probably be consistent enough to come like second. But I don't think there's any reason we can't make the playoffs. I think there'll be, if anything, it's a good thing in that every game at the moment is kind of what team turns up. You know what I mean? It's not. We don't have the sort of dominance, and I guess it's harder for us in that we used to just be able to turn up to probably like 6 of the 10 games, knowing that. You don't have to play your best and you'll still come away with a win. Whereas that's certainly not the case these days. I think, even for Beck, if you were missing a couple of players, you have injuries, like there's no one for me that's as dominant as there was a couple of years ago, for sure. So watch this.
I think it's very much, a team's consistency is going to be crucial and kind of like that team togetherness, because you might have a loss or 2 in a row. However, you can't dwell on it for too long, because there'll be a team that will lose the following week that you lost to, and then you'll win, and it's going to be a lot of battle. It's going to be that lot of anyone can be anyone kind of thing. So it's not letting a single loss kind of dictate how you think things are going to go.
And I guess a lot of trying not to drop points to the teams that we're thinking are going to be at the bottom. Like, because I think Bromley and Bierstead will pick up points at some point. So it's just about being the team that doesn't do that. And then it's about winning the games that are close to you, isn't it? Yeah,
because we've had Bromley picked up points against Cambridge Tigers already. which is obviously big bonus for them.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I
Definitely
could see Tigers ending up in the bottom potentially. Like, I do think Beerstead on their day are pretty strong girls. I wouldn't want to see that. I think the more teams from outside of London and Kent, the better. And let's make you guys travel too. That'd be fantastic.
No, I mean, it's good. It is good for the sport, isn't it? And to see teams in Bristol and Norwich be in the National League for so long now can only be a good thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely keen as well, Charlie. I think you're well, it's not, I think, I don't think you're right. You are right. The reality is the depth in terms of most clubs, actually, if you look back to, let's say, 2021 or 2022, even coming out of COVID or even 2019, the depth in some of those squads was massive. Some of those key squads anyway. Why do you think that there's not been that kind of replacement, if you will, or why do you think that the depth isn't as strong? Because it seems to be the same across every club, right? It's not like one club is like, they made the point about Bristol having good depth and really strong boys, but actually most clubs, you look at it, if you say like one or two players are to go, it feels that way with most of the clubs. Why do you think that is?
Well, that's an interesting question, isn't it? Because obviously you probably got to put, like, the time that we're in now, you've got to mention COVID probably in these conversations. Like, that's, I guess, a couple of years where people starting at uni weren't even really playing. So you're probably losing a source of like new good players from there. You're also then, you've got a load of players who are maybe the next up and coming group who didn't play Korfball from like 13 to 15. And that makes a huge difference. I would say, like, I don't know, in my opinion, and it might be that like I'm old and I'm like, oh, game's gone, it's not as good as it was. But I don't think it's a case of everyone coming up to meet the second and third and fourth teams. Do you know what I mean? I think Beckham maintained their level and probably the others have fallen away a little bit. I would say it's probably, a little bit of a hangover still from everyone having a couple of years off in terms of recruitment and that kind of thing. But it also might just be, has there been less of everyone just joining the top teams? Not being happy just to sit playing the second teams? Might be something like that, but who knows? But yeah, I think the other thing I'd say is, like, I think Bristol, obviously there's a lot of talk about them at the moment. Like, they've done so well to come into the league and finish second last year. But like, it's one thing like being in the league for a few years, doing it from outside of like sort of London and Kent. And I'm not saying Norwich is like a million miles away, but it makes a huge difference if like every away game is like except for Cambridge, it's like a 3-hour trip to get there, 2.5-hour trip to get there. So like Bristol being in for these couple of years is fantastic. And obviously they recruited really well from like bringing players who were Cardiff looking to come up. They've kind of recruited well from there. But if they can still be in the league in like 4 or 5 years, like that would be almost as impressive as if they actually managed to win one from, if they managed to be up for a few years and win it, that would be fantastic. Like someone from outside of London and Kent winning the league. But can they sustain it? Do you know what I mean? Because the only way Knights have been able to do that isn't just Knights. It's that we have 6 clubs in Norwich and all the best players join us. It takes hundreds of people to maintain a National League squad when you actually have to go to away games. So if Bristol can carry on doing that, push on and stay successful, that would be fantastic for the league. We need more of that to happen.
Yeah, for sure. And I hope it does continue. And I agree that there's definitely been, I think COVID is a big factor in that, sustaining the level from kind of pre-COVID times. I feel like when the playoffs were at the Copper Box, that for me felt like kind of the peak of Korfball. And there's definitely been that rebuild, I feel, COVID. And there's definitely, I would say, probably players again kind of in that 13 to 15 range that either didn't play for 2 years or actually, lost interest over those 2 years of not being able to play. So
yeah, for sure.
I hope we're kind of getting back to pre-COVID levels for whatever reason that may be. Well, something we definitely also want to talk to you about away from the National League is your illustrious England career. Also Great Britain as well, a couple of World Games appearances. Firstly, I probably want to start with your favourite England tournament or international tournament, so England or Great Britain, whatever that might be, over the past 20 years.
Favourite? Well, that's a tough one. I guess I think I've been to like 10 different ones. I think you'd probably have to start by saying it probably would be one of the World Games. Well, I don't know, it kind of depends what you pick. Because like, I could pick, and this isn't even an England seniors, like I could pick our England under 21s, because that's the only one where we've actually, and it's a European one, we got the bronze medal. And that was actually, and also that's fun because it's the under 21. So it's the last one where it's kind of that age group that's come up together, everyone being in, and you've come up playing against the same teams every time. So that's always, a good after party as well. So I could pick that one, but I think you'd probably have to say it's got to be a World Games because they're the best tournaments. Because, like, for anyone who doesn't know, it's almost like the Olympics for non-Olympic sports. So it's not just korfball being there. In the off days, you can go and, well, if there's time, you can go and see what other sports are on, and you kind of feel like more part of a, athlete's village, that kind of thing.
Yes.
My favourite tournament, I'd go either Colombia, which was, I think, 2013, because that was just like, cool excuse to go to Colombia. There was loads of like other sports going on that we got to see. Lovely weather. It was a weird little pitch where we were sort of half outdoors as well. Like there weren't any walls. They were just like flags.
Yes.
So that was
yeah, I remember
that was interesting. So that was a good one. And also you've kind of got to be a bit selfish. And like that was one where I actually played quite a lot, played quite well. And then so for that reason, the other one I'd say would be South Africa, which wasn't a World Games. That was the first, I think the first one that I was captain at, and wasn't our like best team performance, but we did come away having only lost to Belgium and Suriname, winning every single other game. Unfortunately, it meant we didn't qualify for the World Games, but that's probably the tournament I've played the most at, scored the most goals. So, and then stayed for a week in South Africa afterwards, did a safari. That's a pretty good trip, I'd say.
Yeah, it was definitely I remember watching that tournament, a tough draw for England. Yeah, basically I've had to have beaten either Belgium or, for those who don't know, Suriname is made up, I think entirely of individuals that live in the Netherlands, but qualified to play for Suriname through their relative heritage. So no like P players actually based in Suriname that play for them. They have had Korfball League players in their team, very, very high quality team. So it was a tricky one for England there. Yeah, as you say, to come away from the tournament and losing to those two is no mean feat.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they had Gerald van Dijk playing, who
he's one of my favourite players.
For anyone who knows korfball, like he used to play for the Netherlands. They benefited from the same way we did, or the same way Wales, Ireland, or that did. If your team hasn't been made, or like at the time that you play for someone else, then you can still move to another club. So like they had literally players moving from the Netherlands to Suriname. So it's a bit of it's a good head start.
Yeah. And so genuinely, he played for the Dutch national team and is one of the top goal scorers in the Korfball League history, and is also one of the most entertaining players to watch. Very unorthodox in his style. Yeah,
he's
just
a dancer
very, very interesting
well.
to watch. Yeah,
he's like, it's genuine.
That was a call out from Tom Brady.
Yeah,
that he called out. He's a professional dancer. That's why his shot looks like that. I was like, what?
Well, I'd say that's why his feet move like that. He's like, he's quick. Like, one of the only players. Like, so that game, the game you mentioned earlier, I think it was Blake against Gerald van Dijk, and that's probably one of the few times that I've seen Blake like struggling to keep up with someone because it's just such unorthodox, like quick, weird feet.
Yeah. Also, it'd be great, that tournament for the listeners is like on YouTube as well, so everyone should go back and watch that. Saying I did earlier, it's a cracker. There's some great games. Charlie, peel back the curtain a little bit if you can. Like, what's the kind of behind the scenes of those tournaments like? What's it like with the players? Obviously, you're competing with each other at the time, especially at that point in 2019, right? It's all up for grabs at that point in the National League. What's it kind of like being there with those players? I'm sure you've been raised with a lot of those guys, but yeah, what was it like at the tournament?
I mean, it's generally, it's always really good. Like, I think, we obviously compete against each other in the National League, but I think there's very few times where I'd say there's any kind of like any of that sort of rivalry would ever get brought into an England team. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a really good football team with like Gerrard and, Man United and Chelsea saying they don't get on with each other. Like, I don't really see there's any of that. I guess maybe over the years we've seen that's kind of meant we all at times haven't always had everyone who maybe should be there available. Do you know what I mean? Like I've always been in the squads from maybe like outside of Beck Trojans, but I've definitely been in squads that were predominantly Beck and predominantly Trojans. So, but no, once you're at the tournament, I don't think there's any kind of rivalry like that. Like everyone wants to play the most or play as much as they think they deserve to. But ultimately, like you've always got to just really put the team first. So like you can be disappointed about not being selected for certain games, but you always have to try and sort of keep that between you and the coach, or keep it yourself until afterwards. Like, you just have to go with the team and like support the people on the pitch. And I think generally we're always pretty good at doing that. Like, I can't think of any examples really where we haven't done that. So yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, it definitely does. It's just interesting from, I guess from someone that's not been at those tournaments before, right? Obviously, you kind of get an idea of what it's like when you speak to people at the current tournaments, but yeah, I think it's always going to be a challenge, right? You've got a group of really, really talented players, and each of them wants to influence the game, and each of them feels like they can influence the game. That's why they're there. That's why they've made the squad. And I think that, sometimes I'm guessing for the managers and whatnot, managing those egos and managing those players can be a challenge. But you're right. I've never really heard of anybody having an issue, but I guess that's why I was asking the question, if that was more challenging. But
yeah, I think I think the dynamic would be, if you are going to disagree with it, you'd disagree with the person making the decision, right? You're never going to be bitter to the person who's taking your place.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Or at least I don't think we should. It's not their decision. Like, everyone wants to play themselves, don't they? So yeah.
Basically, what we're saying, if you want you to bring back all access England Korfball, so we can see the real behind the scenes vlog footage.
Yeah, no, I did enjoy doing that. Yeah, but also, like, that's what you say. Like, you say, like, pull back the curtain. You probably saw in that, like, essentially, like, we do.
Yeah, it was just fun. Yeah.
We do go to these places, but we do also just lie around in a hotel, pretty much. You know what I mean? That's why I say the World Games is better, because you could actually go and look at other sports. But yeah, the majority of your day is that you get up in the morning and you'll probably do some sort of training, and then you'll have a nap, and then you're preparing for a game, or just sat around watching Korfball. That's pulling back the curtain, I'd say.
Mate, there was some nuggets on that All Access England Korfball. There was some great individual bits. I'm pretty sure at one point you introduced Blake and he just turns in the opposite direction and walks away from the camera.
Yeah.
Just
have you asked him for the podcast yet?
He doesn't get much of a choice, does he, mate? He doesn't get much of a choice. But we're trying to keep it less Beck-centric for the next however long. It's impossible. We both play for Beck, right? But, trying to make it a little bit more out
so you think you'll actually
appease some of the fans?
You think you'll get Blake on? I'd love to see the day. Because obviously he's always been like, since he was really young, he's been like our best player at a tournament. But there's times when the camera comes over and he's just running in the opposite direction. They're like, we want Blake.
Yeah,
unfortunately, they end up with me again because Blake's run off.
And of all the many tournaments that you've played in, this can be for Knights or for England. Do you have a favourite game that stands out? Maybe personally, like for your own performance or team performance that really sticks with you?
Yeah, I think that's quite an easy answer actually, because obviously you want to score some goals and you want to win. So you were there, Caitlin?
This is my one that brings to mind, so I wonder if you were going to say it. Yeah.
It was Czech Republic in Portugal. Your first tournament, probably? I want to say like 2014 odd. Basically, it was we were losing. I don't know how many by, but then I subbed on, scored 7, and we won on golden goal. That was pretty good. Give it a watch. Well, I've just spoilt it, but
no, it was.
It's exciting at the end.
It was. Yeah, no, it was really good. I think we must have gone, at least 5 down or so, and it ended up Charlie Otto Fabius is born in the Netherlands, played Korfball League, was eligible to play for England, and did so several times. Great player. And then myself, I don't know how I ended up on the pitch, snuck on there somehow.
Oh, were you on at the end during golden goal when we were in defence?
Yeah, with Steph.
And
Watson.
I chucked the ball back to them. I think we got it in defence, and I chucked it back at the halfway line. But we defended again.
Yes, the old unorthodox. Have another go in golden goal. But apart from that, a pretty flawless game. Charlie obviously shot a crazy percentage and very much got us back in it to a point where we were able to actually challenge a golden goal, and then went on to win it with Alex Derham, the goal scorer for the final
from a free pass. I think Hannah was taking the free pass. And obviously it was a very nervy time. I'm pretty sure Hannah had maybe said to Joe, "Do not pass me this ball back." So he turned around and gave it to Alex, and then Alex nailed it, which is good. The other game that springs to mind would be, and this one's more just because it's a funny game, is it was in Colombia. Must have been the last game of the tournament. I think it was Germany or Russia, but we ended up getting quite a lot of injuries at the tournament. So it was me and Joe with Steph, and Amy played, Amy Turner. So that's Joe Bedford, Steph Allen then, and Amy Turner. But Amy had broken her hand. So Amy couldn't shoot. She could basically just pass with one hand. Steph obviously was already like a massive, helpful assister, rebounder. So we ended up in that division, me and Joe scored 7. Don't know if the girls took a shot in the entire match, but it worked and we won the game, I think, on golden goal. So I'm not saying that's the favourite game, but I just think it was very funny. Amy Turner played for England and didn't take a shot in a match, which is an interesting one.
She broke her arm in the final as well, didn't she? The other
an
years
elbow
back as well.
But played on, right? I think
she did.
Yeah, she's a trooper.
Yeah, fair play to her for doing that, and she's clearly done it before.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but no, that was a good one.
I'd love to know, and listen, I don't know if you're gonna reveal this, Charlie, because there's still players in the league, right? But do you, when you get to go away and play internationally, you're playing with a different set of players that you play up against every week. Is there a favourite player that you have to play with that you obviously never got to play with at club level?
That's a good question. I think, who else? Well, so I think everyone would want to play with Kat. She's a great assister, but I never really did that much for England in terms of I'll say that as a girl answer, because obviously actually pretty much everyone else, I don't know, the really, really top girls I probably played with at club at some point. I think Neil is great to play with as well, who I never played with at club as far as I can think. Boys wise, well, again, I played with Joe and Ben, who are probably two of the people that I played for England with quite a lot. Otto and Blake and Dave Brooks. They're all really good, actually. Yeah, take any of them. Yeah, any of them.
No,
I'll say Otto because obviously he's massive, played in the Korfball League. Makes things easier, doesn't it?
I think that's probably a seamless transition, isn't it? Caitlin, this was your kind of, you were the one that were really keen to find this out, weren't you? I think Caitlin just wants another shout out, really, Charlie.
Yeah.
Is what I think,
okay,
I think she's searching for,
I'll make sure to give
I'm not going to make this.
Honourable mention,
Caitlin. I'll let you take this one.
We would love to know your all-time England starting 8. Absolutely do not expect to be in this. I'd be maybe in top 80.
No, I'll give you the shout out for sure, Caitlin.
Okay,
perfect.
Yeah, cool. But
good
all-time England 8 and all-time England 8 and just a bit of a reason as to why you have picked each player.
Yeah. Fun game to play. I reckon so. Have you got any rules for it, or do I set the parameters? Is that
You're the first one, Charlie.
Okay.
You can set the parameters.
Cool.
You can set them, and then we'll use it in future.
Actually, while we're on it,
Should we go first attack, first defense? Who would be a first attack?
Yeah, that's one of my things. While we're on it, when you did Marcus's best player, build the best player.
Yeah.
Did you mention assisting or passing at any point? Pretty sure that's got to be an element, right? I don't think we had any assisting or passing. So I think, if we're doing that again, let's throw in a shout out to my assisters.
Mm-hmm.
But I love it.
On that, on our one, I reckon, first of all, I'll start with a couple of caveats because I'm going to pick the best team based off how I think they've played for England. Whereas obviously you could pick a team based off what's the best National League team. And then obviously you can't pick Otto because he's never played in the National League. But then there's also really good players like Johnny Nickerson, he played with him at Nottingham and then he went on to, I think he went back and then played for Trojans when they won the league loads. For me, he's the best rebounder, height wise, he's probably not the tallest, but by far the best rebounder and assister in terms of being in the right place. If we were picking it off the league, you could probably have a fair shout for him, but he's never played for England. So, I'm saying not in my list for that reason. And I also say so basically it might lead to a couple of big snubs because I'm also going to say that obviously that means someone like Shane Buckland, I'm not going to pick him in there because, he's played for England when he was 17, was really good. I think if you were picking what do you think's the best England team possible ever, then you can make a good argument for him being in. But did one tournament when he was 17, was one of the best boys, and then since then hasn't been able to play, hasn't wanted to play for England. So, I'll pick people that I think have actually turned up and, played well for England. So I think, and also I'd say this is going to be a really, my age group centric. Yeah. Because obviously I'm sure there were really good players, ages ago. So again, basically I'm counting out the Bucklands. So obviously Corinne and Dave, they were probably the two best players, but I never really started watching anything till 2005, 2007. So I won't be picking anyone who's like before my time, even though I'm sure they were really good. But
all good.
And I think that's all fair.
Fair
Yeah.
caveats. Yeah, it's your England, Nate, Charlie. It doesn't mean it's the right or wrong England, Nate.
Yeah.
It means it's yours. So,
I'm going to try and make the
oh,
divisions
it will
good
be
too.
wrong.
It will be wrong. Yeah.
I guarantee you it's going to be wrong, and it's also going to be right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you'll take flack either way. It's great, you know?
Cool. So first name on the
Awesome.
list, I'll go with Joe Bedford, because I think for that reason of like we're picking it for England performances. Like I think every time we go and play for England, Joe does step up, score goals, win rebounds, defends well. Every tournament he's been on, he's always there, always in like the starting teams really for the big games. So he's my first pick, boys wise, I'd say. And I've got, because I've thought about this before, and I was trying to, I literally, at the end, I get to the point where I'm like, I don't know if it's this person or this person. So I have got some stats. Did you know, you can cut this if you want, I think it's interesting. Did you know Joe has played like on, nearly 50 games, scored like 150 goals for England, never scored against Belgium. Never scored against Belgium. Second on the list, which I'll go boy girl. So top girl on the list is Amy Turner, because I reckon we could pick her even if she had only ever played like one tournament for England. The 2011 World Championships, when she must have been 19 or 20. Like she was just phenomenal in that tournament. To the point that like she was one of the top goal scorers. She got picked in the team of the tournament. Like when you go to tournaments, they pick 4 boys, 4 girls from all the countries. And obviously they kind of do it that like you only have one Dutch girl, one Dutch boy. But it's basically like the best people in the world that year. And Amy was in that team. So she's then gone on to like play for England like however many other times and like always stepped up and scored goals. So for that reason, I'd say Amy's number 1 girl on the sheet. Next boy, Otto. Like, I think obvious choice really. He played for England from when he was like 17 odd, like going back to like 2000 and either like 5 or 7, probably 7. And yeah, he's just, for anyone who hasn't seen him play, he's like 6'6". For us, like does a lot of shooting, like on the outside with a high percentage, but obviously can always go and do everything. Got to the point where like they would have, had he not already played for England, he'd have been getting into like the Dutch 16, like not necessarily saying he'd start, but Otto was like properly up there, and a good guy. So he'd be in for sure. And then next girl, I'd go with Neela Brennan for sure. He's had like fairly long in career, gone to lots of tournaments. Like I think you guys have talked about it already on the podcast. Like, if you were choosing any girl to take a shot or anyone to take a shot, I'd probably choose Neela. And yeah, I think she's also got a great sort of influence on the squad, like really good sort of captain figure. Don't know if she's ever actually been the captain on a trip, but she always kind of just was anyway, which is great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I want to pick a team that kind of works as well. So you want good people like that. So Neela in there for sure.
Is that a division, Charlie? Are you having that as a division or afterwards?
No. Well, yeah, say it's a division for now where we'll work out. Because I haven't actually finished the team in my head. So then, what am I on a boy? So then my next boy would be Blake Palfreyman, who gets a lot of love on this podcast.
No.
Yeah, I think he's been mentioned a few times. But yeah, he's England and Great Britain's, I want to say, probably top goal scorer ever. And he's still pretty young, probably only like 29. I don't really know how old he is.
Yeah, 29, yeah.
And yeah, he's just, if anything, him and Joe, if anyone has been better playing for England than they have in the league, like they've had great performances in the league and in the finals and all that kind of stuff. But you know that Blake's just reliable, always steps up, especially more lately. I think there was times early in his England career where maybe he shied away a little bit and chose to do less of the taking it on himself to take the shots. Whereas I think these days he's got a really good balance of that. So yeah, I think Blake's pretty good. Then next girl, put Natasha Dawson in there for me.
Natasha Dawson. Yeah.
So this is where I think, obviously you can tell, basically I'm just picking my age group of people predominantly. So I think there's a lot of good other shout outs that I could put in there. But Tash went and played for KZ in the Dutch Korfball League. Maybe not as prolific a scorer as Neela or Amy, but in terms of defensively giving you the ball when you need to do it, and just a real kind of hardness in you knew whatever girl she was against, she's never backing down kind of thing. And I think even like bringing that kind of, I don't know if professionalism is the right word, but like that intensity from having played Korfball League and stuff, bringing that back and being like, no, we're not here to fuck around. I think that's great. So that's why I picked Ash. And then, right, fourth boy, this is kind of where, so basically I've got a couple of decisions. First of all, obviously I've not mentioned Dave Brooks yet. And I think from what I said earlier about we're picking it for England performances and not the National League, kind of tempted to not pick Dave Brooks because, like, I guess partly we've never managed to put him in a good division, like where he's like able to thrive, but also he's just been really like injury plagued at England tournaments. Like, I think I watched him, or I was aware of it, even if you couldn't watch the video. You used to watch it on like the World Korfball ticker thing where it just came up with scorers. I think his first couple of tournaments, he was like the young, up and coming kind of guy, but no one really came well out of like the 2007 World Champs. Then my first tournament was with Dave, and he was definitely one of my best boys at that tournament. So at that stage for Great Britain, I'd maybe be picking him. But then he was just really unlucky. Like, we went to Colombia, he turned up injured. Like, he was out with Dave Buckland doing like, late fitness tests in the car park, having to like run up and down, so he couldn't really play. And like the 2015 World Championships, where probably the best we ever did, in that we lost to Taipei in the third, fourth. I think the week before he got injured, so he couldn't turn up to that. So, even though I do think he's great, and like, as you've coined him, like the king of Korf, if I was picking an England Korfball team, he'd for sure be in it. But no, not picking Dave Brooks for England. So then I'm left with, do I pick myself? Are there any rules on that?
Mate, whoever you want, mate.
No, I'm going to try and do a team where I don't pick myself. I'd mention in the conversation, Davish Patel, long England career, as well as Tony Woodvine as well. For me, I think you'd say Dave Brooks is a better player. For England, Tony and Dab have both scored more goals than him, played more games. There's also, is there anyone else I'd throw in there? I'm sure there is. But yeah, I don't know. Basically, then I'm deciding, would I put them in ahead of me? And I probably wouldn't. So what I'm going to do is put in Dave Sinnott, because he played with me the first time I ever played for England, Great Britain. And that was when he was like, I think he was playing his like third or fourth World Games, and he was 34 odd. And he was obviously still like 6'6". He could shoot well, still deserved his place at that age. So I'm sure, and he'd been like a starting boy for 20 years before that. So, and it's quite good for the balance of the team. Like a really tall, like rebounder who will make the good decisions. So I'll pick Dave Sinnott in there, instead of everybody else I've mentioned. But if you had to have a sub, then maybe I'd put myself in. And then my final girl, so there's loads of younger girls I could mention. Like, I think like Shannon, Aisha, Caitlin, even someone like Adele, who only played like one tournament for England and has stopped playing at like 22, which is a real shame. Even someone like that. Especially, did I already say Rachel Turner? I'd especially be mentioning Rachel Turner in this, because I think when we talk about the thing of like stepping up and scoring for England, like, I think Rachel's done a really good job. But the last spot I would have to say is between two people, which is either Kat Goodridge or Kat Brooks, or Steph Allen / Steph Watson, because I think both of them are like brilliant facilitators, in that you kind of need that to make the kind of the glue of the team, to make a division work. I think if I was picking it off the National League, for sure go for Kat. But I think for England, and it's very close, I think I'd go with Steph Watson, because I think she had a good like 5-6 years of doing every tournament in a row. And you kind of like, in the same way Tash does, you kind of knew what you were getting in a division, and that kind of makes it a lot easier to play, a lot easier to get along.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my team. I'm sure there's some massive omissions, but sorry, Marcus, didn't get mentioned.
Is it?
He's just beginning his England career. He'll get there. He'll get there.
Yeah. Give him time. Right. Let me read out the Vogwill Ultimate England 8. Okay. So we've got Joe Bedford, number 1. We've got Amy Turner, number 2. Otto Fabius in number 3. Neela Brennan in number 4. Number 5, friend of the podcast, Blake Puff-Raymond. Number 6, Natasha Dawson. Number 7, Dave Sinnott. And number 8, Steph Watson. And we'll call it a cheeky number 9, Charlie Vogwill. A humble number 9, if you will.
I'm coming
Charlie.
off the bench once we're like 9 down.
Yeah, get him on to score 7 goals.
Yeah, the plan.
Listen, I think it's a great squad, and I think justified. Many justifiable reasons for your picks. Caitlin knows more about those players than I will. I'll leave it to her. Caitlin, justifiable picks, would you say?
Yeah, for sure. And I'm glad you mentioned Steph at the end there. I think there's a reason she's been part of some of the best teams, that Trojans kind of elite era. Steph was always in that team, and of some of England's best performances, finishing, top 4 at World Championships, top 4 at Europeans, qualifying for World Games. Steph's been a massive part of, and not a player that always gets, it's not going to score loads of goals, but just having a player that you know what you're going to get playing with her, and who will just tirelessly do a really important job for the division and for the team is a great pick, really. I think. Yeah. In terms of like what instead of just picking the four best goal scorers, who's actually going to help a team work.
Yeah, exactly. But also,
in the level, it's a great shot.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I think
there's
loads of people. Is there anyone else you'd have mentioned, Caitlin, that I've forgotten? Haven't given Ben King a shout out, but yeah.
You want him in your squad. He's great to have at a tournament.
Yeah.
Great
He can
vibes.
come on the bench as well.
But no, I think that is probably I'd agree with that.
Yeah. Pretty solid team for this generation. I'm sure that you could probably pick a better one of like people to come, but yeah.
It's a great foundation. It's a great starting block. I think it's a wonderful team. And we don't know what segments we're going to bring into each guest, if that makes sense, Charlie. So we're trying to kind of mix it up and make it fun for the listener. And then we'll cycle back to other ones. So who knows whose England 8 will come next? Who knows whose Build the Best Player will come next? We don't know. But we did. There's a few things left, Charlie, I really want to talk to you about that I think some of the listeners will definitely want to know as well. We're going to play a game, and I think this will give you an opportunity to speak to some of the players that I wanted to ask you about that you've been close-knit with, and I'm sure some of the legacy listeners, or legacy Korfball people that listen, but also some of the new listeners might enjoy. But we're going to play, if it's right with you, Charlie, this or that. Now, you haven't been briefed on this.
I was going to
say,
say,
you have no idea what comes next.
You can probably tell from my best team that I had been briefed, whereas this I haven't.
Yeah, it was well structured, but this one's going to be a little bit more fun, where basically this could ruffle some feathers, who knows, but I'm going to give you 2 players, and I need you to pick one of the 2 players and give me a justifiable reason why. Okay?
Yeah, cool.
And then in some of those, maybe we'll follow up and ask you some questions afterwards. But
sure.
Are you good to play?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Wicked. All right, we'll start with some friendly faces. I need you to pick between Josh Rowe or Johnny Nickerson.
Well, I do see Josh more often than Johnny these days. But no, I'm afraid. Sorry, Josh. I talked about him earlier as, I think, inch for inch, best rebounder in the league. So I would have to go Johnny, but it's a very close fought thing. Obviously, I've played more games with Josh for sure, and he's a terrific player. But sorry, mate, Johnny.
Love it. You played quite a lot with Josh, right? Especially during that era of time where I started watching, from kind of like 2017 up to kind of when Josh, I guess, retired. You two seemed like it was like you were in the same division. It was a bit of a partnership there.
Yeah. From whenever I went back to Norwich, 2013, 2012, I was pretty much always like, unless we were missing people, I'd play with Josh the entire time for probably 10 years in a row. But I did play with Johnny for the 3 years at Nottingham as well, most of the time. So yeah, experience of doing that. Also, one of my first ever, I went to a summer tournament when I was maybe 14 or younger, and I was playing a division with Johnny there, and that was one of the first time I ever played Korfball. So me and Johnny, we go back, so it's not a massive snub, Josh.
All right, bear with me. My mate is calling me. This is what happens on the pod. What is he doing?
This is pro podcasting.
He's calling me non-stop apologies.
No, all good. And this is getting cut, so I use it as a chance to fill my wine.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'll definitely cut the words there, yeah. Okay. You fill your wine, Charlie. Yeah.
Well done.
You got more wine, Caitlin?
Not yet, but when I'll stay, don't worry.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Okay. So next up, we're going to go a bit more fresh, a bit more new face, Charlie. Aisha Chowdhury or Hannah Bealey?
Ooh. Yeah, I'll say. Oh, it's tough because Hannah's a knight as well, right? She's only just left us. I will say, if we're asking about Korfball, I'm going to say Aisha. Both like great people, love them both. But I've played with Aisha for England more and for longer, known her long. So Aisha.
Fair comment. Right, here we go. Now let's get spicy. I think we both know the answer for this before you even said it, but Charlie Vogwill or Toby Clark?
Well, it was called, I'm choosing me, obviously, for Korfball. Toby's a lovely guy. I mean, right, is it what I'm saying? This is all time, right? Because like we played against each other a few weeks ago. He probably had the better of me. But if we're going all time, me for sure.
Okay, you're best versus Toby at best. You back Charlie Vogwill.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, now let's quickly flip it to a coaching realm.
Okay, cool.
John Denton or Rob Williams?
So I would have to say, I said at the start of this that if there were any questions that I didn't like, I was just going to pretend I was on a different podcast. Poppadoms, please, James.
Yeah,
I'll just give you my off-menu menu.
Yeah, that'd be great.
When I prefer not to ask. So, yeah, mine's a poppadoms, mate. Love them.
Okay. Yeah, nice. Can't even bread before the start of a 3-course meal. Come on.
Yeah, I'll leave it at that.
All good. I love that. Okay, maybe potentially. Well, I mean, harsh, but Kat Brooks or Claire Deek?
I have to be loyal to Claire Deek, I reckon, on this one. Even, I mean, very different players as well, right? Even if you were like picking up purely Korfball, have them both in a division, fantastic. But if you want to score goals, Claire. If you want someone to assist and facilitate a division, Kat. But yeah, both great people, but got to go with Claire, right? Knights.
Yeah.
But again, sorry, Josh, didn't do that earlier.
There's no consistency.
There's no
here,
consistency.
That's the point. I don't know if you figured there's a theme here. I'm not sure if it's like.
I think either you're trying to get me to either insult people from other clubs or not choose the Knights. So, well,
No, just opening conversation, Charlie.
Yeah,
not doing anything like that.
I'm all for it. Luckily, you were saying
okay,
you're saying
sweet.
People that equally people that I love on either side, so it's all good.
Okay, sweet. So now we got Luke Coit-McKenzie or James Wilcox.
Oh, Luke Coit-McKenzie, right?
That one didn't even take a that one didn't take a second.
I don't know James as well. Like we've trained together for a Great Britain squad once. So if it was a personal thing, obviously Luke. But on a playing thing, I think Luke's like a massive talent who's not put himself forward enough to play for England over the years. But in my opinion, like should 100% be in. James, great player, but no, I don't think he's as good as Luke.
Yeah,
totally fair. And then on that as well, we'll open the conversation. It's been a topic of, here we go. Sorry, professional pod. Mads has just walked in the background. We're good. On wanted to open this as a topic of conversation as well. There's been multiple people, as you mentioned, Charlie. It's been a Beck and Bristol heavy, but it's been conversation because Bristol made it there last year. Bagnall said last week he reckons he's got 3 of the best boys in the National League at Bristol. What are your thoughts on this?
Did he say English boys?
In the National League.
In the National League.
Yeah, in the National League. Yeah.
No, I don't know. Did he say which 3 he thought? Because I saw that and was like, nah, never. Like, I do think the Bristol squad's pretty strong at the moment, but I don't think you can say, what did he say? 3 of the top 6.
So he said if you were to name the 6, I should really get this quoted, but he said if you were to name the best 6 male players in the English National League, he thinks he has 3 of them.
Yeah, okay. I do think for them, I'd say Laurie Fabian, like whenever he's played against Knights the last couple of years, his shooting has been well on it. It seems like he's getting really athletic as well. So I think he should be someone for sure in the England conversation. I do think James Wilcox is a good player, like really experienced, good round the post, can shoot well. But beyond that, no, I don't agree with that. As in even those 2, like I do think Beck have 4, if not 5 of the best players. I've already said I think Luke's really good. I don't think they're far off though, to be fair. There's not that many other players that are playing in the league. So not a terrible shout if you're the coach of that team. But no, I don't think, I don't know. Don't think so.
Well, just wanted to get Vogwill's opinion and, get it on there. But appreciate that, mate.
Do you want me to hear, do you want to hear my opinion on his best, what was it? His blind ranking?
Yeah, go on. Have you?
No. I'm not. No, I'm not actually bitter about it. If anything, I blame you for throwing me out first, right? because
Yeah.
you put me out first. So obviously, he can do this. He can say 7. He's like, oh, is he saying CB7? And also, if you start with me, he's probably expecting like, I don't know, all sorts of names. And fair enough to him. If the match is tomorrow, like I am currently injured, so put me in 10. That's fine.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Well, listen, that's the fun part of the game, isn't it? Nobody knows what comes next.
Yeah,
Same
exactly.
as you right now. It's all blind, right? You have no idea.
Yeah.
Really topical that you mentioned, not sure who the other boys potentially would be in the league. So next up, Owen Bailey or Andy Hall?
Probably. Well, I was going to say Owen's not playing at the moment, but I think he probably is. I would probably pick Owen, but I think it's quite a close call. Like I've played with or been in England, Great Britain squads with Andy quite a lot over the years. Like when he first got in, we were roommates together. So I've got a lot of time for Andy, and I think like great athlete, great rebounder, great shooter. Also plays for me in a team, or has done over the last couple of years. He's played in a team that's worse than the teams that Owen has played in my opinion, and he's done a good job of like leading that team. Owen's probably a better player overall. I think Owen's definitely a better attacker. Maybe Owen sort of doesn't defend as well as Andy. Probably, so that's fair to say. I'd say Owen's always one that he'll score 10, he'll let in 10 as well. I think if Owen could sort that out, he'd be like a real top player. So I'll say Owen, but I think Andy's pretty close there. Like, I think on the, if we're picking 2 teams and you gave me either of them, I'd be happy.
Yeah, both outstanding players, to be fair. Right, we knew it was coming, Caitlin. We knew it had to happen.
Who is it?
Caitlin Fitzgerald or Adele Mitchell.
Good. Right.
You never see them in the same room. I think they're probably just the same.
My starter would be a prawn cocktail. No, I'll say right.
You don't have to.
No, I'm going to pick Caitlin.
Okay,
because
very nice.
Obviously Adele, for me, one of the best Knights girls ever, for sure. Right. But has sadly left us at the young old age of like 22. Yeah. I'll caveat it that if Adele ever wants to come back and play, then I'll pick Adele. But no, right now, I'm going to go with the best podcast host in the land, Caitlin Fitzgerald.
This whole episode is actually a call out to Adele. Oh, please come back.
Yeah. Can we share it so much Adele sees it? That'd be annoying if she still listens to Korfball podcast but doesn't play.
One.
Yeah, come on back.
Had to do it. Right, last couple here. We move it to coaching again, Charlie. Joe Sterling or Gary Geezer Brooks?
No offense to Gary, but obviously Joe Sterling. I think he's done loads for Knights over the years. I think he's good coach. He's sensible. You know what I mean? And like all the coaches I've worked with, we've always had conversations about like Korfball and ways to play. And I think the way Joe wants to do it, I'm fully on board with. I think it's good. I think Gary, for what he's done, like winning 11 national leagues. I mean, obviously, if we're going to go on trophies, Gary wins. But for me, obviously, like Joe's my coach, one of my best mates, so I'd be picking him all day.
Rate it. I think it's 13 for Trojans, isn't it? I'm worried they're going to kick off. I'm worried he's going to come and find me and kick off.
Sarah Jane won a couple. No, I don't know. She probably wasn't coaching. So all right, 13 for him. I mean, I feel like Dave Brooks was in charge at one point. But no, all good.
Well, an apt finish to the game, Charlie. We're going to go Dave Brooks or Blake Powell-Freeman.
I'm going to go Dave Brooks because I do think, for me, one of the best players I've ever played with, best player in the National League, great leader as well, like someone who's he's kind of quiet, but also when he speaks, you listen, right? I think Dave's great at that. It's a shame obviously he's stopped playing. He's kind of, you don't see him at matches and stuff anymore. I think he'd be a great person to get involved in coaching or whenever he wants to. I still get the occasional weird voice message from him on a Sunday evening. Other than that, no, I miss him being around in Korf. So obviously 2 great players, but sorry, Blake, I would always choose Dave Brooks, I think.
Yeah, glad you mentioned that about hoping to see him return in potentially a coaching capacity. I think I was at Trojans for a year when Dave's final year, and that whenever he does say something, it's always really insightful and like tailored to the individual. So I think he would be a great asset to coaching.
How much does he say in that environment of Trojans? Like, was he saying more?
I think so. Yeah, I think both at training, but timeouts within games, at tournament. So he went to 2 European tournaments that year. He was again injured for majority of that year, but always was very involved at tournaments with on the coaching side of things. I know he's got quite a young son, so maybe in a few years you might see a return when he has a bit more time.
Yeah, I thought,
because I know obviously no one kind of reads a live situation very well and is able to come up with good tips.
Exactly. Yeah, I always thought he'd be a good like match day coach, like you're saying, like reacting to the situation in the right way. But also, and maybe it was just because it was more his like where he could help at England tournaments, but just being that kind of like assistant coach to kind of like point you in the direction of like, oh, maybe this is where you're going wrong, maybe work on this. Like, I think he'd be a great influence on like England teams of the future to like getting in any role. Like, I can't picture him as being the head coach, but obviously I haven't seen him in an environment where he would be. Do you know what I mean? I've only ever just played with him for England. So, but I think, yeah, if we could get Dave back in any capacity, that'd be great.
Absolutely. This is the call out. Adele Mitchell and Dave Brooks. Yeah. Get back.
Johnny Nicholson, do you want to come play for Knights? What else is the Tash? You're up in Sheffield, right? Knights are going to make no, I should say, actually, I'm really happy with the Knights team that we do have. Like, we don't need all these people coming back. I probably should have said earlier, like, at the moment I'm injured, and our last couple of games, the team have played really well, to the point that it's like if and when I come back, it won't necessarily be that I'm like straight back in the team. I talked about us coming anywhere from 7th to 2nd, but we've got 19, 20-year-old, like at the moment, Luke's our oldest player starting boys-wise in the first team. And you can mix that with the experience of like Heather, Claire, some really young girls as well. So yeah, I'm very happy with Knights as we are. We don't have to get all these ringers back, but hit me up if you do want to come back.
No, I appreciate that, mate. Thanks for joining. Thanks for playing that game. That was good fun.
That was good.
I do want to just before we let you go, you've been so gracious with your time, mate. I do want to take an opportunity. Obviously, you kind of just did it, which was quite nice to shout out some of the Knights players and make sure that they've been heard and who to look out for, but also what the future looks like for you, mate.
Yeah, well, so right, Knights players to look out for. Cara Bredican is a good up-and-coming young girl who plays for England. She's, I think, just turned 17, so happy birthday the other day. And yeah, I think she'll be a great player. And also Alfie Slaney, he's been in and around our squad for years. He's still only, 21, 22, but he's already a really experienced player. Like, he's been in our squad since he was 15. And Ethan Pickard is a guy who came to UEA like a couple of years ago, but he's doing medicine. So we've still got him for another 2 or 3 years, which is great.
Nice.
Because obviously we get all these people, Hannah Bealey joins us, we have her for 3 years and she goes, That's the problem with being up in Norwich. But yeah, those are 3 players that I'd really pick out as like up and coming, the ones to watch out for sure. What was the other question? Oh, me. So,
yeah, what's next for Charlie?
I'll carry on playing as long as I can. Like, I always said that, like, I'm always available. Probably not realistic at the moment, but like, I'm always available for England. Like I said, I'll play until I'm not picked, kind of thing. And it's the same for Knights. Like, I want to be playing. At the moment, I'm injured. Otherwise, I would be. Like, I've got arthritis in my hip, so I'm on a waiting list to have a hip operation, or to have a consultancy to decide if that happens. But like, I can play until we decide that's happening. So, plan is to carry on playing. Obviously, it when needed, coaching Knights. But other than that, I always used to think I would try and do international refereeing before doing any international coaching. I only last year was kind of basically when Dave Buckland pulled out of doing the coaching role. I happened to be at the trial, so was asked to be involved. So that's where I kind of got involved in coaching there because I was injured at the time. But don't know if I'll have enough time to do enough local refereeing to go and do the international refereeing. You see what I mean? But that's something that I would never say no to, because I think that looks like quite a good gig, right? If you get to get paid to go to all these tournaments, you referee 2 games a day, get to go see all these places, still be involved in the whole international Korf scene, which I love. So
Yeah,
maybe
it's
that at some point.
my long-term plan.
Is it? Do you referee at the moment, Caitlin?
Yeah. I started doing a bit of refereeing this year, and I think it's a great. What's better? You get to go to the Korfball tournament, and experience more of the place you're at, and stay involved in that international Korfball scene for a bit longer beyond playing.
For sure. I reckon there's no drinking ban on the refs, right? And
not from what I've heard.
Yeah, but no, you should definitely do that, Caitlin. Like, I think like they're crying out for female referees, right? So fast track Caitlin Fitzgerald. And
fast track me in.
Yeah. So that, and then like, you know, obviously it depends how everything works out, but at some point I'd like to get involved in coaching some sort of England team. But probably, well, at the moment I've said no to it because if I was gonna commit every time, I'd try and do it as a player. But you know, let's see how my hip goes first. So yeah.
Nice. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. It's got no doubt that you're going to continue to be a staple in the English team for a long time to come. Whether or not that's
I just thought
playing, reffing, whatever.
It should have been. I'm going to be a full-time podcaster, starting up a rival pod. I want to shout it out now.
What do we speak about? Korfball after dark. Basically, what happens? Yeah, there you go. So it's where you get.
What happened to the pub?
Well, no, I was saying I thought it should have I think there's a pun in like post talk. You know, like a Korfball post. I don't know. There's something there. But yeah, basically, I think we should stay on for another hour afterwards. I can answer all your questions, and then we can put that behind a paywall, and then your Patreons can hear us bitch about people, right?
Yeah, nice.
Clip that. See how many likes we get.
Yeah. That's it. I can go to being behind the screen, Caitlin, and directing from beneath, and Charlie and you can just come on and create the magic on screen.
Yeah.
Nice.
The next episode will be someone like, you know, face blocked out, voice changed, and I promise it will not be me.
I love it. Listen, mate, thank you so much. That was amazing. We were super excited for this pod, and I definitely feel like it's delivered. I'm very excited to edit this because there won't be much editing, which is always a buzz for me, mate. You've been really, really great. I'm sure Caitlin was super stoked as well. So yeah.
Thank you for having me. Keep doing it. Always happy to be back whenever you want. Do I leave now? Yeah.
No, I was gonna let Caitlin say a nice thing about you, mate.
I was going to say, I was going to say that massive thanks for coming on. I know we've had some kind words and people who've enjoyed watching and listening to this podcast, but we wouldn't be able to do it if we didn't get people agree to come on and actually chat to us. Firstly, thank you for doing that, and thank you for talking about anything and everything and being a very interesting guest. Big thanks.
No, yeah. Thank you for having me. Nice to see you again, Caitlin. It's been a while, and nice to meet you, James. Keep doing what you're doing,
mate. Really appreciate it, and tune in for the paywall.
Yeah, perfect. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate. Take care. Oh, what a guy!
Here we are, just an hour and a half later,
mate. I'm aware you're Caitlin. For the listeners, are supposed to go out for dinner. No,
it's fun.
Let's just wrap this up, though. What a wonderful human being. Hey, that was amazing, right?
Yeah, really. It's always good to chat to someone who's been involved for a long time. So has been part of those like super successful England teams, you know, coming in the upper places of a tournament, but is still involved in the game now and still wants to be, still loves it. So that's always great to hear.
Yeah, for sure. And he's going to be ridiculously influential over the next however many years, more than he already is, I feel, which is always such a testament to someone like him who's been such a staple for the last 25 years. But yeah, listen, no fixtures this week in the National League. We have heard that there are the regional leagues going on. We are trying to reach out to certain people to talk about all things Korfball.
Yes, for sure. We do want to get promo league coverage in, Bucks prelims, lots of exciting ideas going on around that. So yeah, stay tuned. We hope to continue, bringing a variety of episodes and speaking to, some of the all-time greats such as Charlie, but also some live stuff as well, Premier League, things like that. So yeah, lots to come.
Lots more to come from us. Well, that wraps it up. That's episode 4 in the bag. We are very, very grateful for everybody that's taking the time to listen. We're aware this is a bit of a longer one, but it was so much fun and we loved it. And we hope you loved it as much as we loved having the conversation. So I'll leave Caitlin to say the goodbyes and yeah.
Oh, it's all the pressure, the final word. Thanks for listening again, everyone. And yeah, we'll be back soon. Bye-bye.